Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Nick Collier here, and we are still working on this thing. I don't think we've done much to it for about a week. Other things to do. But we put the tub in it yesterday, and it fit nice and snug, which is what we want. And now we're going to take it for a test spin, and let's see if we can spin it around here. I've got a RPM counter that reflects off of this little piece of tape right there. So we're going to crank this up and test the RPM, see what's going to happen. Let's get a little tape on that. Alright, little electrical tape. It looks like we're rubbing up against here, so we're going to bring our wire over here so it doesn't rub. And I think we've got it. Make sure that ground isn't grounded out. Yeah. Okay, let's try this again. Too much reflection off of the entire mechanism. So first thing we want to do is get this thing more solid. And in the meantime, we've got, we'll take this thing off so that we don't accidentally fry ourselves again. And in the meantime, what I have to do is build a cage around this, and to keep fingers from getting caught in it, and keep people from getting hurt. So what I've done is I've made a larger hoop that goes over the top of the whole thing, and what we're going to do is take this larger hoop and bring it down here, and it looks like it sits pretty nicely right on the edges of the feet. So what I think I want to do is I want to come up from this part of the leg and just bring a strap or a piece of material out so that this can land on it. I mean, it doesn't have to go all the way to the floor. In fact, I don't want it to go all the way to the floor because I want to be able to sweep underneath at a later date. But, when things get dirty. But at this point, we're going to put just a perpendicular arm coming up here on all three legs. And we'll be back. All right, well, we cut our tabs. Now what we want to do is come in and drill a hole in each of the tabs for a bolt, of course. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to eyeball this. Let's see where we're at. That looks pretty good. guess we better tighten up the drill bit, hadn't we? Yeah, well, that'll help. And tighten it up again because it's a Craftsman drill bit. One of these days I'm going to get a new drill bit, I mean a new chuck. There's one. And we're pretty centered. Spin the camera around up to the countersink right there and crank it up. Okay, so now what we want to do is come in and put our little tab right there so that the leg can weld up to it right there. That looks pretty good. I think what we want to do is go ahead and drill our holes, and I'm going to get that 5/16 again. And let's see where we're at as far as distance here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We could even come up just a little bit. Like right in there. So, take our 5/16, put it in the hole, and that lines us up. Of course, if we could get the 5/16 to work. Alright. Now let's do it again. Come down just a little bit, somewhere in that general area. That looks good. Put our bit in. Ouch! And that gives us a center hole to start from. And now we come in with a number F, or a letter F drill bit, and drill it. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, there's our mounts. Now we just have to figure out how long we're going to be here and how these things are going to match in with that. So that's a pretty straightforward deal. We'll go cut a couple of pieces and cut them a little long, and then hopefully bring them back to where we want them. And because I cut these with my little Harbor Freight saw, bandsaw, and we all know that the Harbor Freight is not real accurate. That little saw, I mean, it's a great little saw, and it's, what have I had it for, 25 years? And it's, you know, I put a set of bearings in it, new motor in it, and it keeps running, but it does not cut straight. So I'm going to come in with my mill and kind of square off one edge on all three of them, and get a straight edge going. All right, so we've got our edges squared up. Where's our square? There it is. We want this to kind of go right in there where it's going to sit, maybe down just a little bit so we can put a bead on top of that. Let's turn on the welder. And we're just going to throw a tack on it just in case we have to break it back off again for some reason or another. Something like that. Looks good. Let's spin around and do the other one. Someplace right in there. Like that. Nice. All right, now we're going to want to take our ring and bring it up above this stuff. And it looks like it's going to sit pretty nicely. Oops, bring it up above that. There it is. Yeah, I say that's gonna work out pretty good. Oh, let's bring you back so you can see the whole, something like that. Now I still have to weld the ring together right here at the junction, and once I weld that together, then I think what I'm gonna do is cut a radius on my piece of steel, or my little plug here, and get that to fit real nice, and weld that in, and that'll be a good start. And then what's going to happen from there is I'm going to get some screen, expanded metal, and bring the expanded metal up all the way to the top here, so that nothing, so that the spinning mechanism part is behind a cage, and I think that will satisfy OSHA and all those other characters. So I think so far we're pretty happy. Maybe we'll take them off and go ahead and put the radius in there. I think that's not a bad idea. Oh, Hey, watch out now. All right, so now the radius goes in kind of like looking for a pin. Radius goes in like this. So let's give that a try. All right, so we've come up with a 1-inch radius bit, and we'll just come in and knock off that bottom edge there. Let's bring this down. We'll bring it down all the way to the bottom because this top part hardly ever gets used. And we'll kind of come in just about like that. We'll come into about right there so we can just leave ourselves just a little area to weld. And come away. Take this one out. Put the next one in. And since this is too short to fit in the chuck or in the vise, we're going to break off that weld. Maybe not. Break off our little tab, which was just barely on there. And I'm going to have to go down and sand that down just so that it can fit sideways. And then we'll do that one. Okay, it's going to go in just like that. We're going to bottom out on this little piece of metal that I have in there. And that's going to square us up with the first one. Pull that out. That makes 2. We've got one more. All right. All right, we're going to go in and clean up our rough edges, and we will be back. Okay, now that we're positioned, we've got our radius positioned properly, we're going to come back in and weld back in our tabs so that they are in the right position. I guess we better turn the welder on, hadn't we? Someplace right in there. And come in and just tack it in. go over to the other one. Tack it in. Nice. One last one over here. There we go. Okay, so let's bring this up and see how it's going to sit. Get rid of our ground cable. All right, it's sitting just a little wide. Huh. Okay. Well, that's not too bad. We're going to have to see how much room we have between here and the wall. We might be able to just make our loop a little bit smaller, but we may want to just angle these out just a little bit just to get them to fit better. But generally, I think we're in pretty good shape. Let's back up a little bit and see what we got. How about that? Better. Yeah, that's got a good start. We're going to come in and put the screen in here, and that'll give us the let's have a look here and see. Yeah, we're going to be fine with the handles up above and the screen down below. I mean the screen in this whole area here, and then open under here so that we can get under and sweep and whatever else needs to happen. Okay, I'm liking it. And it's the birds are singing and it's dawn, and I love to go for a walk at dawn, and so I'm gonna go for a walk. Well, Nick Collier here again, and it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have been racking my brain trying to come up with a way to get the screen, the protective screen, to attach to the steel hoops. And I've thought, well, I could just weld each little segment. Well, for one, that's going to take some time, and for another, it doesn't look that good unless, of course, you have a TIG welder, and I don't. Yet. It's coming. At some point. So, this morning I kind of woke up and I went, oh, well, hey, maybe we can do it this way. And I'll bring you in close and we're going to show you how we're going to pull this off. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it's certainly worth the try. So here's the plan. We're centered on the vise itself, and we're centered on the piece of tubing, and we're going to pierce the tubing, and we're going to go a ½ an inch this way and a ½ an inch that way, and then we're going to rotate the tubing and go a ½ an inch and a ½ an inch, and rotate the tubing ½ an inch and a ½ an inch. You know, it's going to take forever, but it'll look really good if it comes out the way I'm hoping it comes out. So let's try starting this thing up. Let's get it going a little faster than that. Okay, maybe not quite that. Turn it off. Got a bunch of gunge in there. Rotate it. Let's try it again. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's have a look and see what we got. I'm thinking that's just about perfect. It follows it just really nicely. A little bit of cleanup, and we can slide that screen right in there. And it actually might be a little bit wide. I might end up wanting to use just a little bit narrower. Let's see if we can find a small piece of screen okay, now this is just going to be a little sample, but this is kind of give us an idea of what it's going to look like. And you just slide that sucker right in there, and look at that. That's going to look really sweet. You know, of course, get rid of the rough edges, and it'll just slide in. And then maybe come in, and you know, every foot or so, and just do a little tack just to kind of lock it in place. I like it. Later on today I'm going to go pick up the screen. So I think what we could do is we could go ahead and make our complete circle with the bit. Let's see, do we want to make it any narrower? I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that's just about perfect. By the time we start to arch it and get it to bend around the whole circle, I think we're going to appreciate having a little extra room to kind of fiddle around with. So let's get the circle in place, and first we got to weld it, and then we'll cut it. Okay, we've got ourselves a full bead, and I want to come in and grind that down and everything, but it is 4 o'clock in the morning, and my wife and my neighbors might be a little upset if I crank up the grinder and start going at it. So we'll save that until later in the morning, but for now we can put this on the mill and run a bead around there. Okay, well, we've gotten a number of steps further along the way. We had a pan made for putting water in, and also I made the slats to put to weld over. And I kind of did a little different thing. I'm going to bring you a little closer just to check it out. All right, here's what I did: is I came in and put little pieces of metal like this. I'll show you. I cut up a bunch of little segments like this, put them in here and put them next to each other with a little space in between, so I can pull these slots out if they get screwed up. Then all I have to do is go to the metal place, buy some more slots, and replace them. So that's one thing. And then the pan I had made, and that's going to give us a couple, 2 or 3 inches of water just to blow everything down into the water. And I am now struggling, I'm going to raise this up for you, struggling to get this thing to level out, and I cannot figure it out. I mean, it's level in so many ways, like there, perfectly level, no problem. Oh, well, okay, look, it's not. It's traveling towards us. But I'm sure I'm going to figure it out at some point or another. And it might be that it doesn't really matter that much. What happens is there's up on top here, whoops, I'm going to bring you up. Up on top here, there's a little pin that sticks out that rotates. The motor drives it, and the pin is magnetic, and it goes against whatever pattern is going on here. Now this thing here slides back and forth, as you can see, and this goes up and down to give you a little bit more adjustment for where the pattern's going to go. So, you know, as we go further, I'll check in and we'll be back.